This presentation was given in March 2017 by Dr. Paul Privateer at the Elasticon conference in San Francisco. The talk covers who we are, why no school violence exists, what we are doing, and what our plans are for the future. No School Violence is a nonprofit national initiative that explores school violence under or with a new kind of lens. We treat school violence as a public health issue that's approaching epidemic status, and our focus is on adolescent behavior. We are creating an application called the Lantern with the goal of improving the accuracy of search terms that users input into the app in order to compare student behaviors with the ways in which those behaviors correlate to the relative risk values or levels of certain types of school violence. Once the Lantern is really operational, we hope to get it on most teachers, parents, school administrators, health care professional desktops to use the results to then help develop much more targeted smart intervention sessions with students who need them. Our goal is to reduce school violence before it happens versus the dominant response approach that currently exists. Why did we do this? Here's why.
Every time I think about those kids, it gets me mad.
Touch everyone that's out here today, God.
I waited for her at the window for a week, hoping it wasn't
Serle's grieving family that lost someone in the Andes.
Most traumatizing thing I've ever been to.
I need to go home. Call my husband home out here. Just all of us moms networking, trying to figure out what's going on.
It's time that we begin to use the smartest data tools that we have to protect all of our children from school violence. Epidemic, 800,000 recorded violent school incidences in 2016 qualifies as an epidemic. The numbers average 500,000 over the last 16 years. And there have been some, as we know, some very tragic weapons fatalities. Here's what some kids think about what happens when you're trying to go to school in an environment that's violent.
How important to you is school safety?
School safety is pretty important to me. I don't want to feel like I'm in danger.
You should be safe at one of the places that you spend the most time.
That's the environment in which you're learning and you're growing in. And if it's not a safe place, if you don't feel safe, if you don't feel like you're welcome, then I feel like it'll impede your learning.
You can't learn if you don't feel safe. You can't do a lot of things if you don't feel safe.
With a safe school environment, they can focus on their studies without having to worry about what's going to happen next.
It's incredibly important. I mean, you can't function on the most basic level if you don't feel like you're in a secure environment.
So, what are we about? Well, we know that there is absolute proof that big data can be applied to behavioral studies, and those studies have occurred in the area of health, in crime studies, and consumer marketing, infrastructure law, and whatnot. And what we're really trying to do is take a world of big data, move it through our app called the NSV Lantern, so that we can equate behavioral queries with various forms of violence. And we've used Elasticsearch because of a number of values that it provides. It simply is a very effective search query tool. So what the Lantern does is it indexes research documents, and those documents are parsed, and then we've built Lantern, and we've tested it, and we have realized that this is a very doable project. So now what we need to do is expand it. The demo of the Lantern is not on this site, but it's available if you go to noschoolviolence.org. So our initiative is to actually get a real office, to hire some people on a daily basis rather than all volunteers. We need social scientists and science team, data science team, and we want to develop sponsorship programs with other organizations, and we're going to be working on some crowdfunding initiatives. We want to get some donors who really invest in this, and then of course we want to grow our organization, which is a nonprofit. We then want to take our app and move it not only concentrating on violence, but move it into the areas of adolescent health, so that we can correlate certain behaviors with certain types of health outcomes. Same with academic success, or the uses of drug, or relational successes, sexual issues, and negotiation skills. Our conclusion is that we want to protect children because it's everyone's business. Our organization has to grow to meet the epidemic levels of school violence, and we need the community, and that can take into Elasticsearch users, the tech community, corporate sponsors, educators, parents, mental health specialists, all of whom can test and apply the Lantern and make it a better tool. So we're at noschoolviolence.org. We're in Seattle, Washington. We're part of a larger organization called Seattle Data for Good. Our phone number is 800-215-0415, or contact us at contact@noschoolviolence.org. We need your help because no kid should ever have to go to school in fear.